What's up, guys? Welcome to another video that we're going to be doing. We're going to be checking out the Intel Edison. This is actually a pretty awesome little platform. You saw me use a little bit of it in the Christmas video. This video is going to be over how to initially set up your Edison, how to get the image onto it, how to activate the Wi-Fi, and probably go ahead and I'll show you how to activate the Bluetooth just for completion. I showed, I believe, how to activate the Bluetooth on the Christmas video, but we'll go ahead and put it all right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through putting it together onto the board, what connectors you need to plug into to get things set up, different softwares and things to use, getting it all set up and plugged in and everything. So this is Intel's basically website for it. They've got some pretty good documentation and whatnot for it. This is the downloads documentation section. We'll be going to that. First thing I would suggest doing when I first got started with all this would be to go to, let's see, grab the other page here, to the software download page. I'll put the link in the description. I even believe you can get to it. I think if you just click downloads and documentation. There's the Arduino IDE. Yeah, actually you can create Arduino sketches with this guy and everything, but we're not going to be looking at that right now. Linux and Yocto. Yocto is the version of Linux that is run on it, kind of like the Raspberry Pi has Raspbian and Wheezy and all those different versions. Yocto is the Edison's image that they're using. Looks like they even have Linux support for it. This is kind of different than when I've been here before. The one that I've been here before was this web page. I'll put the link. I'll put both links down in there. Excuse me. Looks like they got some brief notes. Looks like they got documentation and stuff going on here. When I first did this, the documentation was kind of scarce, but looks like they're adding more all the time. But anyway, that's basically where you can come. There's a learning center, project gallery, all kinds of different tidbits that's on their website. But basically what you'll need to do is, I'll put this link to this one in there. Maybe this isn't the latest image anymore, but this is the one we're using for this demonstration. So you're going to see this Yocto image. You're going to download this. Okay, it's just going to be a zip file. And then you also need to download the Windows driver and go ahead and run that setup, which it's just like installing any other driver. I'm not going to do it and, let you guys, have you guys watch through that. I think y'all probably know at this point how to install a driver. So you just download the driver, install the Windows driver, so that way it can find the device. And that's pretty much all you got to do for that first part. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and roll over to the bench here, and I'll show you which port connector you want to plug it into, how to mount it into the development board that was provided with it, and whatnot. So let's roll over to the bench, and we'll see you in just a second. Okay, guys, well, what we got here is some of the pieces that come in the box. I've got just the battery clip little connector, and I've just clipped on my my power supply onto it. Set the old power supply for about, let's see, where are we at? About 5 volts, since that's what this little guy will do, at least this board will do. This board has an onboard voltage regulator. Not real sure where that's at. Could be that little IC right there. Maybe not. Well, in any case, they do have an onboard little voltage regulator that's on this thing, so you can give this board 5 volts. However, if you're using a breakout board or something like I was using in the video, you cannot give the Edison itself on its power pin, you cannot give it 5 volts. It will damage the Edison, or I don't know if it'll damage it. It may cause it to heat excessively, because I'm sure they have, I'm sure they probably put protective circuitry in there. So there's probably, like, I don't know, maybe a little Zener diode or something that will clamp it. Well, if you leave it on there for a while, it's going to get hot, because it's probably trying to clamp that down. So it's not good to run it at 5 volts. I think 4.8
or something. Don't quote me on that, but I believe 4.8 is the highest you want to go. Otherwise, you're gonna cause damage to the chip if you power it directly. However, in this little setup rig that they give you, they even give you these nice little plastic standoffs and whatever. This little setup rig, you can give it 5 volts, and you won't be a problem, because as you can see, it has the Arduino like shield connectors, because you can actually program this with the Arduino IDE. They have a little, as you saw in the previous kind of previous scene where I was at the PC, you saw that there was that Arduino IDE. There is kind of like a mod for the Arduino IDE, so you need to download the one from Intel for it to be able to use your Arduino sketches and stuff, and use your Arduino shields with this. But you get the 5 volts. So basically all you have to do is you have this, I believe it's a 72-pin Hirose connector, which I at first was, yammering like, oh, why did they pick this connector? Because it's just almost impossible to solder. If you ever wanted to make, the mating connector, on another board, it's like impossible to solder. But at the same time, here's the thing with these, they're going for low power. They're going for battery solutions. So this is so small so it can fit into different places and whatnot. But yet they give you, if you really think about it, they're giving you all 72 pins. So they're giving you everything. They don't limit it by, well, the micro that's on this thing, has 72 pins, but because we want to put, 10th inch headers on it or something, like this, look how big that header is, just a few pins would take up, the whole back side of this. And so that would really limit you. So they're giving you every single pin that this thing has out to a connector. So it is pretty cool. It actually is a pretty cool deal that they do that. So I guess that lessens the pain of it being such a tiny connector. So now we're going to go ahead and attempt to snap this guy in, which I believe mine didn't come with them. The guy in other tutorials that I watch from Intel, they have little screws that are in these little holes that help you line up the Edison. My box thing didn't come with it, or maybe they were thinking you would use some of the screws that it came with. I don't know, but basically you need to, trying to do this with a camera is interesting, but you need to line up the little Hirose connector. Once you get it lined up, it'll snap into place, and once it snaps on, it's not coming off, so it has a pretty good little grip to it. So that's basically how you snap it on. I don't know if you can see that in there. I may not have my light positioned right, but there you go. So it's snapped in there. So now we can go ahead and power the little guy up. Plug him in. We'll get some status LEDs showing that he's powered up. Okay. So once it's all powered up, now mine, this one actually already has an image on it because it's got the stuff on it from the Christmas video. But we're going to go ahead and blank it. We'll put a new image on it. I'll show you how to install it fresh. So first thing we need to do, you've got 2 connectors here. One of which is it basically is just, it operates like a flash drive. If you connect it to this one, it'll operate just like a flash drive. And what it is the drivers and whatever for the onboard flash memory that's on this little module. Then there's the second one. This one's basically connects straight to this FTDI chip. I don't know if you can see that. This FTDI chip, which is just it's exactly what you're probably thinking it is. It's the USB to serial chip, that, I can't think of the part number right off the top of my head, it's late, but it's that FTDI chip, It's also the FTDI chip that FTDI had that big fiasco with not too long ago. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out Dave Jones's video. He's a lot of fun to watch, and he has some pretty colorful things to say about that whole fiasco that went on, but I won't go into it here. But anyway, that's what it is. So USB to serial, and then flash drive, basically, connection. Now, how this thing works is we're going to first connect it, because we're going to pretend like it doesn't have an image on it. We're going to connect up our USB that we connect to our computer up to the flash drive port, basically. And then this is what you needed the driver for. And this will basically show up as a flash drive on your system. So let's go back to the PC and we'll check that out.
Okay guys, I've got the Edison connected. I've got Edison, it's located as drive I in my system. Okay, so now what I've done is I've downloaded that Yocto image. So what we're going to do is we're going to extract it just right into what are basically our Edison's flash. So to do that, I've got WinRAR or RAR. So I just right click and drag and let off your right click and choose extract here. And then it should decompress the image from the zip and send it to the Edison. Now this may take a few minutes to get over there, but once it's in, then you're good to go. I'll show you what to do after that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video. No sense you watching the status bar creep across the page. So I'm gonna pause the video and we'll be back once it's installed. Okay, so now it has finished. So basically it has decompressed that zip inside of that flash memory. So now all we need to do is we're going to have to swap the USB connector again, because we're going to pull up a terminaling software to then get into it and reboot it to where it will load the new image. So let's go back to the desk and to the bench, and we will swap that cable.
Okay guys, now that we've got that flash installed, we're going to or that image installed in the flash, we're going to remove our USB cord from the USB drive type connection here, and we're going to put it in the USB to serial connection. So let's go back over to the PC, and we should be able to see it in our device manager as a USB to serial communication device.
Okay guys, so we're back at the PC again. Okay, what we're going to look at is our computer management, which you get to from clicking on the start, going to computer, right-clicking, and choosing manage. That is on Windows 7. Honestly, I haven't played with Windows 8 enough to figure out where that is. I'm sure you could do a search for it or whatnot, but at least on Windows 7 and below, that's how you get to it. So anyway, we come in here and we look at our ports COM and LPT, and we're going to see our USB to serial COM port number 7. So we remember that. Now use your favorite terminaling software. Mine in this instance is good old tera. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check this out. But I'm going to go with a new connection. Choose serial. It's already got the USB to serial port configured. We're going to go to setup, change the serial port settings from 9600 to 11.5.200. Okay, we're going to hit enter, and there's our login. I do want to note something real quick. I did have this thing boot loop on me because as you can see, I've got, it's set up. It says my Eddie. It's because I've actually configured this for the video, right? And so it has all my settings in it. Well, I have it where the minute it boots, it turns on the Wi-Fi, which is what I will show you guys how to configure here in just a minute. But since the Wi-Fi is on and the Bluetooth is on, it basically draws all kinds of power. Well, me setting, I said in the previous section about setting it to 5 volts, my power supply to 5 volts, you really need to set it higher than that, because I forgot about the fact that it draws at least 500 milliamps from the USB port, or at least from power supplies. And with that low voltage of only 5 volts on the regulator, and it's basically going to split the power between the USB port and the power supply, and it just doesn't pull enough power. The USB port can only source 250 milliamps on a standard USB port, which is what I have it plugged into. Now if you have a powered USB port, that's completely different. But if it's not, then you need to up the power, which I did. I upped the voltage to about 12 volts. I think it's got a 7805 regulator on it. I don't know. I'd have to hunt around and look for it, but I think it can probably handle up to 30 volts, but don't quote me on it. I would say 12 is probably about max for now, just to be safe. Let's just stay around 12 volts. But anyway, I'd seen that on Intel's website. They used 12 volts in some of their demos. So 12 volts works. I got it to boot up. Everything's great. So remember that little tidbit. It does draw quite a bit of energy, and if you don't use a powered USB port, your external power supply needs to be set higher than 5 volts. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and log into this. I'm going to choose root, use my password. I'll show you how to set up all this stuff, this root and password. If you're configuring your Intel Edison from the very first get-go, you're probably going to have a screen that looks similar to this. You'll just get the root, and then I think it just says Intel Edison or something like that is the actual name of the device. So anyway, when you get this, since we have the image put in, all you have to type is reboot and OTA, since you want to load it from the USB OTA is what you want to load it from. So you're going to hit go. That's going to reboot the system, and it should reload the entire OS. So looks like off it goes. Reading Edison image, so there it goes, extended 4. So now this will actually go ahead and decompress and install that image that we just put on the kind of like, I guess you'd say, flash drive portion of the Intel Edison development kit. So we'll wait for that to finish. It usually does pretty quick, but I don't know, it's taking a little bit, so we may go ahead and pause the video and come back when it's over with. Okay guys, it has finished installing, and so now it is just rebooting. Whoops, I forgot, whenever you resize the window, it blanks and it basically clears the screen. So here it comes. So I figured I'd show the boot sequence. Here it is booting up. It is running, obviously, Linux. Looks like it finished up, and now it's going to reboot. Finish everything all up. Welcome to Linux. Hooray. So we'll wait for it to boot here. It doesn't take very long. It's actually fairly quick at booting up. So there we go, Edison login. And so now we can just type root, and there we go. And now we're at the root screen. All right. So now what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and begin the configuration section of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out Device Manager. Oops. I didn't really close it, I just minimized it. We're going to close out Device Manager because we don't need it. So now we're going to go ahead and begin configuring the web stuff. So we'll configure the Wi-Fi and we'll configure the Bluetooth. Okay guys, so I've gone ahead and maximized this now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the Wi-Fi setup, and I think we'll probably end the video after that. It's starting to get kind of long, so we'll take up some of the other settings in subsequent videos, but we'll go ahead and just work on this for now. So the first thing we need to do is we need to configure the Edison. So we just configure, okay, hopefully you guys can see this, Edison -- setup. Okay, and this will build the setup for us guys. So here we go. You have to give the Edison a unique name. Okay, this will be used for the access point, SSID, and MDNS addressing, so all that stuff. So, okay, cool. Because I believe, if I remember right, you can use this little guy as like a, whatever it is, like a Wi-Fi hotspot if you wanted to. I think somehow, maybe. I don't know. That's maybe another project for another time. We may look at how to do that because it can actually broadcast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it My Eddie. I like that. Okay. So is this correct? Yes, it is. So let's move on. And then we need to enter a password for it. Sure. Password again. And that's how you will access the device. First time root password setup complete. Enabling SSH on Wi-Fi interface. Do you want to set up the Wi-Fi? Yes, we do. So now it's going to start scanning. And so hopefully it should find my home network here. If not, we'll tell it to scan yet again. And we'll try it one more time. Rescan for networks. If not, I may have to enter the manual information. Yeah, for some reason it's not picking it up. Okay, we'll enter it manually. So manual input, hidden SSID. I don't know why it's hidden. Oh wait, no, there it is. There it is. Okay, there it is. Misperry one. That's mine. So I'm going to choose 13. That's the one. Yes, that's correct. Okay, and then what is the password? If I remember right, it's I think this is it. If it isn't, it'll tell me, and I'll have to go look it up. So while that's signing in, I'm gonna go look and see if I was right or not. I probably was wrong. It's like it's one of those passwords, you know, where it has like one of two different things in it, you know what I'm talking about? And so it's like, well, was it the first one or was it the other one? It's like, I don't know. So let's see where we are. Yeah, it was the other one. It's gonna I'm gonna kill it. Let's try this again. Leave empty to skip. We're skipping it. Oh, wait. Leave empty to abort. We're aborting. Okay. Yes, I'm going to set up Wi-Fi. We're going to start the scan again. So, hey, this is exactly what happens when you forget what your password was. You have to go through all this again. So, here we go. All right, let's try this again. Oh, it's number 11 this time. Yes. This one's going to be... There we go. That should connect now. So we're going to let that sit here and figure itself out. Attempting to connect. Done. Please connect your laptop or PC to the same network of the device to yada 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 in your browser. So yeah, so there's it should basically, you should be able to find it, browse to it. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. And voila, we got it. My Eddie 125. And I just typed in the IP address. And so there it is. So it does work. The web server is working. We can get to it. So hoorah, hooray, hooree. Now, here's the thing. This is the interesting thing with this. This works right now. The only problem is when I reboot, if I reboot the Edison here, it will, it won't stick. Basically, it won't retain that it's got, that it's got an IP address. In fact, we can just try that. Let me reboot. Let's reboot real quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You won't be able to get back to it. So let me bring that page back up again. Okay, so we'll wait for it to reboot. There it goes. One thing I will say about this little guy, it does boot pretty quick. It's a pretty quick little guy when it comes up. So, okay, so now we're at the login. Now that we've configured it to log into root, you have to have the password now. So, there we go. Now, if we take and we hit it. Oh, I guess it did. Well, they had a kernel update, or a software update since the last software that I used with this. They must have fixed it. Sweet. That's awesome. When I first did this for the Christmas one, when I first did this, it didn't have that coolness to it. So I should be able to. Yeah, I can ping Google. Sweet. So once you configure the Wi-Fi, it sets up what it should be. Let's see if it's there. Yeah, it can't CD to it. What you had to do is you had to kind of go a gambit of creating. I can go ahead and put that in the links below too, I guess. But what you had to do is you had to create a script, a shell script, that would basically enable it for you and put it in the init.d folder. And obviously it says I can't CD to it. Well, that means because I can't, or I need to create the init.d folder. And once you do that and you put a shell script in it, then it'll run it when it boots. And that's essentially what you have to do. But it looks like they fixed it. Because, yeah, it works just fine. Yeah, see, we're pinging Google, so that's awesome. Well, now that we have Wi-Fi set up, we should, if I get out of this, we should be able to close this terminal, grab our wonderful program called Putty, bust out our Intel Edison, except the IP address is apparently changed, so we'll resave that. And we should be able to SSH to it now, in theory. Oh, you can't see it. Okay, let me bring it over. There we go. So we can SSH to it now. Root, and then password, and there it is. All right, guys. So that is how easy it is to go ahead and load a new image onto your board, how to get it into the Edison, reboot it, and configure it to where you can set up password, name of the Edison, and set up your Wi-Fi connection. Alright guys, that about does it for this video. Like I said, we'll be doing subsequent videos on this guy. We'll probably be doing how to set up Bluetooth, how to connect to it, how to talk to it. I'll show you that whole interface between the Raspberry Pi and it. Also, I'll be showing how to set up the GPIO and how to do it using scripts, which is interesting enough, instead of using like a C programming language, even though you can incorporate this into a C programming language or whatever. You just incorporate it in using system commands and things like that to do the same thing. But I'll show you how you can basically very simply script GPIO commands and things and build scripts that utilize the GPIO. So fairly cool stuff on the way, as well as I'll be doing a mailbag video here pretty soon, because I think I've got most of my stuff in that I've ordered. I ordered a whole slew of stuff for us guys, so got some cool things going to be coming up. So with that guys, like, subscribe, share. It was brought to my attention, I guess my Instructables link is not working correctly, so I've corrected that. It should be corrected on this video. I will slowly correct them all in the subsequent videos. But yeah, check me out on Instructables. Follow me on Twitter. Add me as your contacts to Google+. I have a specific contacts group for YouTube subscribers, so you can add me. I'll add you back on Google+. And with that, guys, that ought to do it. Take care. We'll see you next time.